is the third round of the Empoli social tournament. And if you're new to this channel, I'm playing a tournament of my chess club, so it's not rated, which means that I can try a lot of wild stuff. And also we play with 60 minutes with 0 increment, which is really important because it means that I can flag people, which is a thing that usually you don't get because we play like 60 minutes plus 30 seconds every move, so it's basically impossible to flag. So it's going to be a funny tournament. I won a game, I drew one, and now I'm against a 1600 FIDE rated player, so he's basically around 900 2000 on chess.com, just to be clear. Even the guy I drew with the game before is rated 2100, so it's going to be a good game for sure. I'm an e4 player, and for this reason I obviously play d4. My opponent replied with c5, and I actually knew that because I have already played against him, although I didn't prep for this game because I just played with him a few times. I just remember that he plays the Sicilian. And talking about line something, this time I played a line that I'm playing recently online, which is c3, the Alapin, and I generally think the Alapin is one of the best weapons against the Sicilian, because I had a lot of problems against the Sicilian. So when I started, I was playing the open Sicilian, then I tried to play the closed Sicilian and I had best results. But now people know how to counter it. But the Alapin, guys, tell you what, I have a crazy winning percentage. It's just a really good opening. So if you are searching for an opening against the Sicilian, I really suggest you to try this because it's great. He replied with d5, which easy move. I mean, there are many moves. Instead of d5, they usually play f6, but d5 is the second most played move. And the point is that now I take, the queen has to take, and you see the difference with the normal Sicilian. I still have to play d4, we didn't trade pawns, and the advantage I have in this case is that the queen is in the center, so it looks like a sort of a Scandinavian position. So at this point I play d4, which again is the best move, and now you can take, or you can play knight on c6 for example. If you take, as you can see, this is a sort of a Scandinavian where my pieces are even more open. Okay, I have this pawn which is weak, but I don't care because I have great attacking chance, and against a Sicilian player, playing a position like this I think is a surprise, and you can really punish him pretty well. And it's crazy how no one knows Alapin theory, even at 2300 level on chess.com, 2300. People don't know theory of the Alapin, so it's crazy. But my opponent, instead of taking, decided to play knight on c6, which again is a really logical move. It makes sense, puts more pressure on this pawn. So instead of taking, because obviously you don't want to take, otherwise queen take, you lose the right to castle. It's not an advantage for you, obviously. Let's say I take, queen take and king take. Okay, I'm up a pawn, but he's going to play a move like e5 and he's going to win the pawn immediately. And I'm worse, probably. So instead of doing that, I just played the knight on f3, which is really logical because now, I mean, if you take, I can still take with the pawn and I still have a lot of good ideas. Another thing that knight on f3 does is that allow me to play c4. And I feel like c4 is a pretty good move because I play the knight on f3 Scandinavian line and you play c4 pretty much every time. So this is a really similar line to it. So I felt like playing c4 was really good for me because I was used to it. And I'm threatening c4 because if you take the pawn with the queen, obviously I can take with the knight, and that's the problem. So my opponent decided to play bishop on g4. Bishop on g4 pins the knight, so now, if I play something like this, it doesn't work because you can still take the pawn. For this reason, I had to play bishop on e2, which unpins the knight, and it's a common move. Every time they pin your knight, usually bishop on e2 is always the best move to play. And now you can take again, and then I'm going to take this way. And now I'm still threatening to play c4, so you need to be careful. Usually they take at this point, but you could also play e6, for example. My opponent instead playing knight on f6, which is not wrong. which is not wrong, but there are better moves and gives white an advantage. Now you can't see the winning percentage, but I see now that the most played moves are h3 or c4. h3 has a 52% winning percentage for white and a 19% winning percentage for black, with an almost 30% of the win chance. And c4, 60% winning percentage for white, which is crazy. Now the best move is h3, which is not the move I played. And after that they play h5, and you can play c4 now. So basically you are saying, I get the same position, but the difference is that now I played h3, which is better. You wasted time with the bishop. Yeah, that makes sense, honestly. I didn't think about that. And instead of playing that, I just played c4 right away. So playing h3 would have been more precise. And now, apparently, this is imprecise. Although, as I said, white has a crazy winning percentage because it's really difficult for black to play. I mean, if you look at this position, are you going to tell me that this is a good position for black? I mean, I genuinely thought I was winning in this position. I slightly worse. I thought I was winning. Because let's say you play queen on e4, I have knight on c3, developing a lot of stuff. d5 is coming, is crashing. I mean, I'm up in development, I'm up in space. I have the idea of queen on a4 check. I thought it was a really good position. And yes, you can play queen on d6 or queen on d7, but after that I thought, yes, I play d5. Doesn't have a lot of square where to go. I'm definitely much better, which is not true. My opponent played queen on d6. Yeah, I'm better, but not even that better. The best move was playing queen on f5. Yeah, queen on f5. I even thought about queen on f5. I mean, doesn't feel like it's anything special, but okay. We play this, and I play d5, obviously. So now I'm up a ton of space. That makes sense. And now again, it's a really difficult position for black because you can't just move the knight. Let's say you play knight on d4. I can just take the knight. Because if you take with the bishop, I take with the knight and I'm up a piece. So, I mean, in this case, you lose a piece because you take, I take. So you can't do that. And even if you play such a move, I think it's playable. And I thought that I could have just castled in a position like this. And the point is that if you take, I take, and you can't take this pawn because I have this check. And I saw this. So I felt like this position was really good for me. And yeah, I was right. So instead of doing that, the only move is basically taking the knight, because it's the knight that is causing a lot of problems. So you have to take, and I take with the bishop, obviously. I mean, what else am I supposed to do? I'm not going to take with the pawn. I can just castle short, obviously. I'm not going to castle long. It's crazy. So he played knight on d4, which again is a good move. Now, a lot of time says that the bishop is better than the knight, so you shouldn't trade it. But it depends on the position, and also remember that activity is the most important thing. If I waste the time moving the bishop, I play a passive move and I lose my advantage. If I play a development move, I still have my space and I'm up in development, so I still have the advantage. So be careful when you think about this. So I can give my bishop, and I have another point too. This bishop is just terrible. I mean, it's just staring, and this pawn does nothing. This knight instead is much better than the bishop, so if he takes it, I'm okay. So as I said, it depends. In this position, the knight is just better than the bishop, so I can give it. After I played this, my opponent played g6, and obviously g6 is a good move, and I think the best move. What you want to do is just to develop the bishop on g7. My opponent didn't want to push this pawn because after they take, I open the file for the rook and you have the king in the middle, which is not a great thing, especially in a classical game. I have a lot of time to punish you. So yeah, he played g6 and I played knight on c3. I mean, at this point I can basically play two moves. Knight on c3 or bishop on e3. That's what I thought. If I play bishop on e3, I'm attacking the knight 2 times. But I was scared about this move, which in fact is the best, knight on f5, so you don't have to take this bishop. And this bishop is under attack, and I guess I had to move it again. So for this reason, I decided to play knight on c3 first. And the point is that if I play bishop on e3, and you play knight on f5, at this point, since the knight is not covering the square, I can play knight on b5, gaining a tempo on the queen, and it's really good. So for this reason, I played the knight on c3 before. And he developed the bishop on g7, and now, as I said, I can play bishop on e3. And what bishop on e3 does is developing a piece, which obviously is always great, and put a lot of pressure on this knight. So basically, the only thing you can do is trading the knight for the bishop. So you don't have a really strong knight now, because you traded it. This bishop was bad and we traded it, so I'm happy. Now Stockfish is suggesting to play knight on d7, so defending the knight this way, which is a move that I missed. But I don't know, then I have the idea of taking and I get in. So I missed it, but I mean, I still think it's not just a great move. And yeah, my opponent decided to take, which is imprecise. And now I can take with the queen. And now white is much better, because as you can see, this is weak, this is coming, I'm up a ton in development, and all of my pieces are better than his. Objectively speaking, this knight is better than this knight, this bishop is better than this bishop, this queen, yeah, I still think is better than this queen, because at least put pressure there. Rooks are coming, you have the king in the middle, so obviously I'm much better. So he castled, which makes sense, and now I had the chance to be definitely much better, which I missed. So the best move is rook a on d1. But I can't really explain this move to you. Like, let's say you play b6, defending this. Okay, rook f1 on e1. And then what? h6. Okay, but where is my attack now? Okay, bishop on f4, you need to go back. How can I get in? Maybe I have some wild idea. No, he's saying just rook on e2. So Stockfish is seeing a way in the long run to take advantage, I guess, of this pawn and of this space and of the fact that my pieces are better, but I can't see this far. So for this reason, I didn't play rook on d1, because I thought it was kinda useless. What I thought was a much better move, which is the move that I played, is knight on b5, because I basically saw a way to win a pawn, which, I mean, usually is a good move. It's not terrible, I mean, it's still definitely better, but yeah, I had better move to play. And my point is that after you play queen on b6, which is basically the only way to say this pawn I had before, now it's not that you lose the pawn, and I saw why. And I saw why, because you have knight on d7, which he found. And honestly, it is a really good find. I mean, don't think it is an easy move to see. Yeah, and knight on d7 just defend the pawn, basically. And what is my advantage? You might say, well, I saw that at this point, I could have played rook a b1 with just taking. I just decided to take. And my point was, well, first of all, you can play queen on a5. That's a move that I saw. And that's all I had rook a b1, because remember, the rook is under attack. Rook a b1. Yes, you can take, but after that I have an advantage, a considerable advantage, I would say, saying I can play d6, for example. Well, I thought this move was pretty good from the distance. But yeah, it's not bad. But instead of doing that, my opponent just decided to take, and I thought it was a pretty bad move. It is not, I mean, it's the best move. I thought it was pretty bad because I can play rook a b1. And I felt like there had to be something, some sort of discovery. Guess what? There isn't. There is absolutely nothing. I mean, there is the fact that my pieces are much better, there is pressure on this knight, but it's not winning. This position is not winning, unfortunately. But remember when I said we don't have increment? Just to give you an idea, I have like 40 minutes in this position and my opponent has like 15. There is no increment. There is no increment, and I am 2200 on rapid on chess.com. Just saying. If we enter into the 10-minute zone, I mean, I am 2200. That's my time, basically. So you need to play pretty fast. Obviously, though, which is the thing that I learned with all this tournament, I'm not playing fast, I'm just taking my time. I just taking 2 or 3 minutes to think, which, I mean, for me is enough. For me is enough. I play really instinctively. So it's okay. But finally, I'm thinking, even if it's low on time, I'm just thinking, I just take my time and I play good moves. In fact, as you see, I'm not playing bad moves. I might play inaccurate move, but that's because, I mean, I'm not stockfish. But yeah, I think I'm playing well, finally, which is a thing that usually I can't say because I play too fast. So I play this move. And that's the reason why I'm not winning, because this defends everything. And I had 0 discoveries. Nothing works. Absolutely nothing works. So at this point, I need to find something. Obviously, there is pressure on this pawn, but for now it's not a problem because the knight is pinned. So I thought that playing rook f on e1 was a really good idea. And the point is that I'm threatening to take, let's say queen take, and I have pressure on this pawn. I might also defend this and then try to put pressure on this pawn. That was my idea. I didn't really know what to do in this position. But he played queen on f6. Now, I used to play queens a lot, definitely too much. I want to go into an endgame that I'm not capable of winning. So for this reason, I thought I had a much better move. Which was queen on e2, which is imprecise, and still better, but is imprecise. And that's funny because every time I played queens is bad, I should do something else. And the only time I say, okay, let's stop playing queens, the best move is actually playing queens. That's beautiful. And the point is that after you take, there is bishop take. And I guess you can play this. No, what? d6? What is d6? Okay, yeah, he has to take. And can win it? No, because then he takes. Ah, rook take. Oh, I missed that. Oh, I missed that. This is actually great looking with white. I'm also threatening this. Oh, wow. Absolutely missed all of this line. To be honest. I didn't even consider d6. Maybe if I considered d6, I would have seen that, but through all the game, I didn't even consider playing d6. I thought it was just kinda useless, because if you push, I mean, I have a pass pawn, I don't really want to give you this pawn. But yeah, my bad, I played queen on e2. The point is that if I take now, that's pretty good. That was my point. Another point is that I have bishop on d4. He plays a3 first, so I need to move the knight, obviously. I could play bishop on d4. I saw that. I thought it was bad. Because let's say I play this and this. At this point, I guess I have to take the bishop. And the point is that you don't have to take the bishop. You can just take the knight. And now I have to go back. He's saying bishop on a1. And then you just take this. Well, I thought it was pretty bad for me. Like, I take, there are discoveries, I guess. Apparently there is nothing. But, as you can see, from a human point, that wasn't really clever to do. So, instead of doing that, I just went back with the knight, which is imprecise. Okay. Yeah, and he played d5. Now, e5, I didn't even talk about it. Because, I mean, I was sure it was bad. I mean, I saw e5, I was sure it was a bad move. And there is a reason. They found the reason, luckily. I decided to take the knight, rook take, and now that is just rook take on b7. I'm up a full pawn. I have to pass pawn, although it's not so easy at all. Like, this time is not that I'm winning. He has a ton of pressure, to be fair. I mean, if I don't play the most accurate move ever, I lose both of these pawns. These pawns are weak, are not strong, just to be clear. And he played this move, which is bad, apparently. And if I play knight on b1, it's +3. Well, in this position I had two ideas, knight on b1 or going back with the rook. Now, going back with the rook looked a bit wild for me, so I just decided to play knight on b1, which strangely is the best move. And yeah, now he attacks the pawn and he's +6, and I play knight on c3. And remember when I was talking about the time? Well, after I played knight on c3, my opponent flagged. My opponent lost on time. He's +6, I mean, it's over, but yeah, he just lost on time. I had like 30 minutes or 40, I don't remember, and he lost. Yeah, probably is one of the guys that just play classical. If he plays a 10-minute game, he just plays two moves. Just plays, I don't know, e4, e5, knight, c3, and then he finished the time. But yeah, if you are wondering what can happen now, is that if you play the c5, I have a fork. That was my idea. First of all, so you can do that. We kept playing because, I mean, I won, but we both were curious on how it could have ended. It ended in a draw. I mean, we didn't even finish. They were closing the local, so we didn't even finish. But it was a draw. So obviously I threw the game so bad, like really badly. But I mean, I wasn't focusing too much. I mean, I won. Okay, I'm tired. I won. We can play, but not at my best. So the point is that at this point I can play rook on d1 apparently, and rook on d1 is over. It's over. Don't really get why. What if you play this? d6. What if you take the... Okay, you can't take because there is this. Oh, apparently you have to take? What if you do something else? What if you... Well... Okay, it's not easy to find a move. Okay, let's bring the rook back. Let's say, for example, like this. Yeah, there is still knight on e7, but take... Yeah, okay, it's bad, I get it. It's pretty bad. And what can I say, guys? So I won this game. I'm 2.5 out of 3. Fair enough. We'll say 2 win and 1 draw. In the next game, I'm going to play against another 1600, I guess. I played against him a lot of times, so I might prepare something. Because against him, I usually draw a lot. He just loves drawing. He's like an Anishigiri from Wish. I need to study something probably against him. So yeah, this was a good game. Finally, I'm thinking in a winning position instead of just blitzing everything and playing off my opponent time. And I still won because he flagged and I played slower than usual. So yeah, I think I should play like this. I'm fine with this, so I'm pretty happy with this game finally. So see you in this day with the next video.